Here we go, Hanging Rock Mountain. Here it is, Dan River. That's a Texas flag. What's up with that? This road leads to Hanging Rock State Park. Vade Mecum. Cicero Teese, a businessman from Winston-Salem, and John Sparks, a Pennsylvanian who owned a traveling circus, were two principal investors in the Vade Mecum Resort. The second hotel, built in 1902, is the only Mineral Springs Resort hotel still standing in North Carolina. These bottles, and that's a jug of whiskey. CCC again, here they are. Hard at work. This was in the 30s. Look at how they had to blast these rocks. And look how they built on this wall here. It's a dam. July 1935, 243 CCC workers arrived and pitched camps in the vicinity of Hanging Rock. CCC camps located in North Carolina: Mount Mitchell, Hanging Rock, William B. Umstead, Morrow Mountain, Jones Lake, Singletary Lake, Fort Macon. Another day, another dollar. The young men that worked here earned $30 a month. 25 of their first $30 was sent to the person of their choice, usually a family member. The government provided the men of Camp 3422 with uniforms, barracks, meals, and education. The Army would manage the young men from 6 p.m. till 6 a.m., then hand them over to the Park Service for 8 hours of manual labor After shower and dinner, the men would participate in sporting events and continue their education by attending classes. The CCC stressed education to eliminate illiteracy, encouraged hobbies, and taught men job-seeking skills and prepared them for the Army. On the weekends, the young men of Camp 3422 were allowed trips to Walnut Cove or the surrounding area to get a hamburger for 15 cents. Another source of entertainment was the PX or canteen. The art of stoneworking. Hard rock miners. In building the park facilities across the nation, the CCC used native stone, often acquired from parklands. A surface mine at Hanging Rock State Park provided most of the stone today. Here's a rock drill bit and a drill bit gauge. That was hard work. Solid as a rock. This rock can bend? Are you sure? Look, it can. Oop, can you read that? It's about the CCC. Employed 3 million people, planted more than 2 million trees, controlled erosion on 20 million acres of land, created national, state, and county and municipal parks, fought forest fires, floods, blizzards, and hurricanes, built over 3,000 fire towers, constructed 97,000 miles of road, and reclaimed more than 84 million acres for agriculture. That's quite an accomplishment.
The Civilian Conservation Corps was a federal program during the 1930s and 40s that conserved our country's natural resources using the labor of young men between the ages of 18 and 25. One of the many CCC projects was here at Hanging Rock State Park. Franklin Delano Roosevelt inspired the Corps, but it was the dedication and perseverance of the Corps' young men that made Hanging Rock State Park a place to relax and enjoy this haven of beauty and nature. Let's take a look back in time at how these young men shaped what you are experiencing here today, and hear from some of the boys themselves.
It was probably one of the greatest things that could have happened if President Roosevelt had not done this. I don't think that we would have recovered as fast as we did from the recession.
Men who had their lives changed by the CCC.
Man, we was on top of the world when it comes to CCC camp. We had plenty to eat. We really enjoyed it.
Let's meet some more of the young men of the Civilian Conservation Corps, Camp 3422.
And one of the things that I did in camp was rive shingles like this to cover the bathhouse with. It was covered first with the shingles. And we made thousands of these. The timber come out of these mountains here. And I did a small amount of work on the bathhouse, but my main job on the bathhouse was to rive these shingles. They had a cement mixer right up on the right-hand side of the dam from here, and make up the concrete and put in wheelbarrows, drive it down there in a wheelbarrow. They had a reading room down there in the recreation hall. One end of it, I did a lot of reading, and on Sunday I would get a job of watching the game, checking traffic. But that's what I was supposed to be doing, but the main thing I was doing was checking the girls.
I was 12 years old, and when they come to the house, and them army trucks, 2 army trucks, and
they come in and started clearing out the place and set up tents. And they built the camp. Took about 2 months to build camp, and they stayed in the tents all that time. I seen right then what I wanted to do was drive a truck.
Marion James was one of the rock quarry workers at Hanging Rock. The first thing he was asked to do when he arrived was to use a 14-pound sledgehammer to start splitting rock. Eventually, he moved on to work with the jackhammer and then rock blasting.
The value of CCCs, I think, mostly was to get young boys and a lot of these young men that was in town that had no work to do, and they didn't really know how to work. And you got them in here, and then you learned how to work together, to associate with each other, how to treat each other, and that way they could become more or less just a family together. I think I gained more about learning how to meet people, and I gained a lot to learning how to blast and learning the jackhammer. And then, as I say, how to meet and get along with people. I think I learned that more than anything else.
This is a piece of the actual pipe that we were using to run from the reservoir down to the bathhouse. And my job particularly was to see that the trench was leveled so that the stones did not interfere with the smooth flow of the water. The CC's excellent way of bringing this region into reality and giving it a second start after the Civil War. It was probably one of the greatest things that could have happened.
Here at the site of the old mess hall, we find Luther Hell reminiscing about those days when he came running to this entrance at the sound of the nearby dinner bell.
When I first got here, I wanted to be a cook. And they put me in the kitchen washing pots and pans. And the grease made me sick. I stuck with it about 3 weeks, I believe is what it was. And later on, I got them to move me outside. They said, well, you can be outside, KP. That was taking care of the back of the kitchen, vegetable pit, peeling potatoes, that kind of thing. This is the vegetable pit where we kept all our vegetables, fresh vegetables, grapefruit, potatoes, anything that, in the vegetable line, we kept them in that place because it would stay fresh in that pit. And then we brought the potatoes and everything that needed to be prepared out here, brought them up to this place and peeled the potatoes and got everything ready to take them into the cook. I made a picture here of me sitting up here and the pastry cook was sitting there beside of me. And what his name is, I don't remember. But at that time, when I was in the kitchen, I got all the pastries I wanted.
The camp life for the men of the CCC was not all work.
Well, we had a good baseball team, and we would play the other companies in the Madison and different companies around it. We played baseball with them. I was a pitcher. I was not bragging, but I was a good pitcher. We played Danbury while I was in the Madison camp. I was in Madison camp, and we defeated Danbury by 1 run. It was the first time they had lost a game that year.
One day, a bulldozer arrived in town. It was eventually used to carve out the lake, build the main road, and even build a makeshift ball field. But nobody in the camp knew how to drive a bulldozer, although one young man was willing to find out. Meet Roy Willard.
Well, the day that the bulldozer come into camp, it was in the afternoon. Luther Williams and myself went over there to get the bulldozer, and it was just 2 of us alone. So Luther said to me, he said, well, how are we gonna get bulldozer off of the flat car. And I said, well, you are. He said, no, I'm not, it's you. And I said, I'll go up there and climb up there and see what I can find out. I've never been on one. The lake was also cleaned out with it was just nothing but stumps in there. And one particular great big stump, I guess it was 4 feet diameter. A great big pine had been cut down for years. And they told me that stump has got to come out of there. And I said, I'll get it out. And I worked on that thing nearly half a day. Altogether, a whole day's work. When I got it done, I went back in. I couldn't even pull that stump across the land because it was so heavy and big.
The Civilian Conservation Corps, Camp 3422, a testament to what can be accomplished using our most valuable resource, committed people.
But I venture to say that a big percentage of us turned out to be respectable citizens due to the Civilian Conservation Corps. And I'm proud that I can say that I'm a member of the Civilian Conservation Corps.
Wow. Sarah village along the Dan River. Look at these baskets here. The Saras, a local Native American nation, lived a challenging and intriguing life through the use of earth and its resources. I think that's the Blue Ridge Mountains in the far background, but this is the Piedmont. You never know it by looking at that big mountain right there, hanging. Prominent peaks rise from 1,700 feet to 2,500 feet above sea level, in stark contrast to the surrounding Piedmont.